Threading the F420 needle is as simple as this. Cut your thread, use the automatic needle threader, shoots the thread through the eye of the needle and your needle is threaded. The F420 has a drop-in jam-proof bobbin, so we drop the bobbin in, cut the thread off, replace the little cover, and you don't even have to lift the bobbin thread because when the machine starts to stitch it will do that automatically. The F420 has 180 built-in stitches. It also has 10 different style buttonholes and 5 different alphabet styles. To select a stitch is really simple. You touch the screen to select the menu that you would like to choose a stitch from. So for example, if I wanted to choose a zigzag stitch, I simply touch the button that represents that and the machine will set up the ideal width and the ideal length. It will even suggest the foot that I need to have on the machine. Now to adjust the width or the length is as simple as using your plus or your minus keys to increase or decrease the width, and the same would be for your length. You can even save your favorite settings onto the machine. If I wanted to go to do a decorative stitch, I then select from any one of the decorative stitches that is up on the top panel there. So for example, if I wanted to sew the little daisy, which is stitch number 50, I just type in 50 and it will set it up for me. To create a combination of decorative stitches is simple. Select the category you would like to choose from, then select the stitch number you would like. So I would like 27 and I would like 28. So now I have a car and a bicycle. Now I would like to add some lettering. So I select the alphabet category and I scroll through until I find the one that I like. Then I go up to the top and I select by number. So an A is 01, a B 02 and a C 03. Then if I would like to add another bicycle and a car to the end of that, I select the category and then I simply click on 27 and 28. And if I've selected the wrong one, I can clear that out and select the correct one. Now if I want to save this for future use, I can save it into one of the machine's memories. So I simply click on Save. All of the controls of the F420 are situated conveniently at your fingertips. Here we have the Start-Stop button, which will allow you to fill a bobbin without putting your foot on the foot control. You can even sew by using the Start-Stop button and not using your foot control. This is ideal for when you are stitching buttonholes or rows of decorative stitching. Here we have the reverse to secure button, so the machine will stitch a couple of stitches backwards and then go forwards at the beginning and end of each seam to stop the seam from coming undone. If you prefer to have a lock stitch instead of stitches at the beginning and end of each seam, you would simply choose the lock stitch function. Here we have the needle up, needle down button, so this allows you to control whether the needle is up or the needle is down. We also have a built-in pair of scissors, so at the end of each seam you don't have to reach for your scissors, you just touch the built-in scissors and it will cut the threads at the end of the seam. You can control your sewing speed, so you can stitch slowly at a medium pace or fast as you prefer. If you would like to engage the automatic function for the reverse or the lock stitch, then you simply touch that little button and the machine will automatically reverse or create a lock stitch at the beginning and end of your seam. Likewise, if you would prefer the scissors to be automatic, you touch the scissors and now that function has been activated, so the machine will reverse to secure at the beginning and end of a seam and it will automatically cut the threads as well. So then you don't have to keep reaching up here for those controls. So you can can have either the manual option or the automatic option. The F420 has a built-in storage tray, and inside there you can neatly and conveniently store all your sewing feet, and at the bottom there's space for extra accessories as well. Now the neat thing about this is that the feet clip in so they can't fall out by mistake. The storage tray also slips off of the machine to create a free arm for stitching trouser legs or cuffs. It's very important to be able to drop your feed teeth for free motion quilting or for darning, and to do that is simple. You reach around the back of the machine, slide a lever, and the feed teeth have now been dropped. Now we're going to have a look at how quickly and how quietly we can sew a straight seam. So I select the stitch that I want. The machine will tell me which foot to have on the machine, and it will also set up the ideal settings. I can change those should I want to. I can also engage the automatic reverse to secure at the beginning and end of the seam, and I can engage the automatic cut the thread at the end of the seam function. I can adjust my sewing speed to whatever suits my personal preference. Now I don't have to hold the threads when I start sewing because this machine has got that jam-proof bobbin. So all I do is I start stitching. The machine will stitch forward a few stitches, backwards, and then come forward again. When I get to the end of the seam, I just press the reverse button. It reverses a few stitches, comes forward a few stitches, cuts the thread automatically, and all I do is lift the foot and take the work out. So there my seam has beautifully been finished off at the beginning and at the end with reverse stitches, so that seam will not come undone. Instead of using the reverse to secure button, I could also have chosen the fix button, which would have knotted off at the beginning and the end instead of stitching backwards and forwards. Making one of the one-step automatic buttonholes on the F420 is as simple as this. Select the category that the buttonholes are in, select the buttonhole from the variety of 10 that are available. You'll see that the machine automatically will reverse, and that means that your buttonhole won't come undone, so it knots it at the beginning and the end. It tells you that you need to have the A foot on the machine, so we fetch the A foot, open the back of the A foot, slip the button in that we want to make the buttonhole for. Now the machine will measure that button and create this buttonhole to the exact size plus 3 millimeters so that the button can go in and out the buttonhole easily. We can also activate the automatic scissors so that at the end of the buttonhole it will cut the threads for us. So now I'm just going to pop the buttonhole foot onto the machine and we'll stitch that buttonhole. Now that the foot is on the machine, we slip the fabric under the foot, and because this machine has the start stop button, I can unplug my foot control and I can press the start stop button and stitch the buttonhole without having my foot on the foot control. Once the machine is finished stitching, it will knot itself off, cut its threads, and we simply have to take the buttonhole out from under the foot. So there I have one perfect buttonhole, so if I need to sew 1 or 101, they'll all be identical. If I take the foot off of the machine and I release that button, you'll see that the buttonhole is the perfect size for that button, with just a few millimeters to spare so that the button can go in and out of the perfect buttonhole easily. You can even stitch a button onto your garments by selecting the right stitch, putting the button onto the machine, and then pressing go. The machine will count the number of times it has to stitch, and at the end it will knot itself off, and the automatic scissors have been engaged, so it cuts the threads off, and all you do is take the button out from underneath the machine, and it's knotted off at the back for you so that that button will never fall off of the garment. This machine is equipped with what is known as auto tension. So as far as the tension goes, you only set the tension to match the type of thread that you're working with, but for the rest of it the machine is going to measure the thickness of the fabric and adjust the tension to suit the fabric. So here I have an example with a double layer of fabric which I'm going to fold over. So now I have 4 layers, then I'm going to fold it again, so I have 6 layers. Now I'm going to stitch through the 6 layers, and then I'm going to stitch through the 2, and you'll see that the stitch length will stay identical whether it's going through 6 layers or 2 layers, and that's because the machine will adjust the tension to the thickness of the fabric. So I'm going to slip that underneath the needle, lower the foot, and I'm going to stitch. And here you'll easily be able to see that the stitches going through the 6 layers are identical in length to where it's going through 2 layers. Now normally if you don't have auto tension, where it's going through 6 layers it will make tiny little stitches, and then where it's going through 2 layers it would tend to make bigger stitches, but these are perfectly even through the 6 or through the 2 layers of fabric. It doesn't matter what type of fabric you sew with, the F420 is perfect for all types of fabric. So from the sheerest chiffons, georgettes, satins, and even stretch laces, it sews a perfectly straight, pucker-free seam. If you sew with a lot of stretch fabric, it has a stitch that will stop your seams from going snap, crackle, and pop. With lycra, which is notorious for seams breaking, the F420 has a built-in stitch, especially for lycra. Then if you work on heavier weight fabric like your denim, here I've done a beautiful top stitch on the denim. And then if you work with your imitation leather or even real leather, the machine can handle that as well. So irrespective of what you sew, the F420 can handle the wide range of different weights of fabric.